Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew. This is Leo Gaming, and today we are taking a look at Transport Fever 2, a game that has been long awaited, both by myself and the Transport Fever community. If you've been around my channel for some time, then you will know that I'm an avid player of Transport Fever. But what you may not know is that Transport Fever 2 has some, let's just say, differences, to say the least, from the previous title. The first of these differences is the cargo setup. So let me go ahead and explain something here. Right here I got a little bit of a setup going. Let me actually turn on the icon so that way I can show you guys what's going on over here. And what we got going on right here is I got a pretty much machines change. Machines are built out of planks and steel. So go ahead to create the planks and steel, and we got machines. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Well, it's a little bit more extended than that. What you need to do is you need to actually bring the logs from a forestry over to a sawmill, and then bring them over to the machines factory. That's the easy setup right there. That's the easiest one out of this entire production chain. Then you got the steel production, which you got to take coal from this coal mine and bring it over to this steel mill. Same with the iron ore from this iron ore mine and bring it over to this steel mill as well. Then bring the steel over to the machines factory and then bring the machines into town. Which you may notice that the icons that signify like what a town actually requires to go and grow are different. Well, obviously they're different because it's a new game, new icons, new everything. Yeah, makes sense, right? But there's a little bit more to that. You see that the supply quota right here is what is needed by both commercial and industrial. So the first one is typically for industrial, the second one is typically for commercial. Sometimes they'll be swapped, like this one, industrial, commercial still. This one right here is industrial or commercial and then industrial. So that one's switched right there. But then I believe that these are just set up because of the alphabetical order of the actual item types. Now you can also see that I don't just got commercial cargo going on around here. I also got passengers going along. We got passengers that are using loop lines that I got going ahead and set up. And I got Cockermouth hooked up to Breely, and then I got Breely hooked up to Skegness, and that's all connected via train. Now I got 2 trains running on this line right now, and I gotta say, it's easy to make money with trains from the start. But unless you are doing it in a way that you're progressing, not in the way that you're going all out at the very start, then you're going to have some trouble. You're going to have some real bad trouble, to be honest. And what I've really noticed is if you go ahead and set up a point-to-point line, that is going to be your most profitable way of getting started. So what I did is that I started off with this save by getting Breely and Skegness connected up. After about a year of having those connected, I then decided to extend Breely to be a 2-track station, and then extend it down to Cockermouth. Cockermouth now has a loop around it as well, just like the other 2 towns, and it also has a train station. Eventually, I'll extend it down to Much Winlock, and also down to Otley. Now, by the way, if I am pronouncing any of these names wrong, don't criticize me about it because I'm not a British speaker. These are mostly European names, so I won't be able to pronounce them as good as others, to say the least. Skegness and Breely are just ones that I'm able to pronounce already because I actually have been to a town called Skegness and a town called Breely here in the United States. So yeah. But what is interesting about this game so far? The interesting bit is you get to actually customize your map before you get started. And I'll actually show you guys a little bit about that here in just a minute. But why is that an interesting portion? Well, it's interesting so that way you can decide if you want to focus mostly on industrial or mostly on passenger. If you want to focus mostly on passenger, you're going to, of course, make more towns. If you're going to focus on mostly industrial, you're going to focus on more industrial. Makes sense, right? Now, what is going to be interesting about this is I'm currently trying to go and get all these in resources for the industry all shuffled about. And you guys can see that with each industry, there is a production, a shipment, and a transport that they need to be fulfilled. Some will be higher than others, such as in the production and shipment at raw resources, resources that do not require any products to go in. They will go ahead and start producing right away. Then they will go ahead and request that you transport them to the closest facility. In this case, it is this sawmill over here in Breely. Well, on the opposite side of the river from Breely, but that's the point. Then, once when you get it over to Breely, it will start producing it. For every 2 logs, 1 planks, that or it will be every 1 raw resource to 1 produced resource, so on and so forth. Some will even go as far as, like for the machines factory, you want 1 produced resource of 1 type and 1 produced resource of another to make 1 completely new produced resource. And that's kind of like the way you have to think about this. Do I want to go and focus on the industry where I can go and make sure that the industries are leveling up accordingly? Or do I want to focus on passengers where the money could be there, but it's very off-putting sometimes? Such as in, if I were to go take a look at my Train 2 over here, and I do love for a fact that one thing that is different between Transport Fever and Transport Fever 2 is that the game no longer is like, if I were to be all the way over here in Otley, the game no longer is just like teleports you over there. It actually kind of like zooms out and brings you in to the actual unit. So that actually makes it a lot easier to actually locate a vehicle, so that way you can go like, okay, where is this at? And then it will actually zoom out and zoom over to where the vehicle is. Now, every single vehicle, as you can tell, they will go to a specific destination, 1 out of every amount of stops that you have on the line. And then it will go and tell you what speed it's going at, how many passengers it's got, how much it's actually making in terms of finance. And then if we go into the details, this will actually tell us like our emissions, our maintenance costs, and its age and value, along with its capacity, top speed, everything of that sort. Now, why is this important? Well, this is important so that way you can go ahead and 1, finance your actual tycoon empire, is what you're trying to do here. And 2, so that way you can kind of gauge about like for instance, this right here, age, 2 years, which is 32% of its lifetime and has about 5 years remaining. That is extremely different than what was inside of Transport Fever 2, Transport Fever, the original. So that's kind of like a big change right there. Then it will go and tell you what its running cost is. I have the full numbers on because beforehand, back in Transport Fever 2, it gave you the short number version, which I can easily show you guys right now. If I go into settings, I can go into interface and money number format. You can change that between full and short. Short, we'll go ahead and apply it to the same way that we had it before in Transport Fever. Just go ahead and abbreviating it to 1,000 mark. And it's not going to actually extend it over. I kind of like the full one better just because it gives you a little bit more information. But that's besides the point. What we can tell, though, is that he currently has 13 people on board, and he's most likely going to drop off all of them and take all the passengers at this station with Skegness out and into, yep, made 119,000 off of those 14 people. And one thing that I'm kind of uncertain about is, I know in Transport Fever there was kind of like a theory that the unit of measurement between the amount of people that you were transporting and the actual amount of real amount of people was 1 to every 4. So 1 unit in game is equal to 4 people, or 4 units in real life. So I'm hoping that's the same thing here, I'm not too certain. I'm pretty sure that is the same thing, but we can only guess right now. We can't really make any assumptions at this time. But that is my first impressions for you guys, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys are interested in watching more videos of Transport Fever, definitely check out my YouTube series that's coming out later today. It's actually going to be on a tropical themed map. Or is it tropical theme? Yeah, it's going to be a tropical theme map. And most likely, if you guys are watching this on the day of release as well, then I want you guys to go and head over to my Twitch channel and make sure to follow me over on there, because we have a charity stream going on in honor of the launch party for Transport Fever 2. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, definitely go into the description and head over to my Twitch page. We are targeting a goal for St. Jude of like $300. So if you guys could show up for that and show your support, that would be amazing. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one, everyone.